So, you want to learn how to start a band in 2026? Well, I'm going to help you with the fundamentals of what it takes to start said band in 2026. There's a lot of different aspects that go into being in a band. It's not just about going on stage and playing. There's so much more that goes into it, and you need to be aware of everything that goes on, because this isn't just something you can half commit to. You need to be fully committed, and you always need to be prepared to sacrifice something to continue what you're doing musically. Now, why should you trust me? My name's Cass. I'm the guitarist for the band Sacravia. I've been in multiple bands before with songs that have achieved tens of thousands of streams, playing with bands like Crypta and Asleep at the Helm. So I feel I've had a bit of experience in this area, and I've learned some things along the way that I think might be able to help you with your journey starting a band in the big 2026. So there's a lot of things you need to prepare yourself for when starting a band. It's not as easy as picking up an instrument and suddenly creating incredible songs. There is a process that you need to kind of follow to be able to get yourself off the ground and into a rehearsal room with other people and start creating music that you love, and finally one day get ready to play in front of a live audience. A couple things to note is there's a few things that you need to prepare yourself to face when starting a band. Some of them include long hours of practice and writing. You're not going to be able to show up into a rehearsal room without some kind of material ready to go. So you need to be prepared to be sat in your room for hours, creating songs, ideas, and writing them down and recording them so you have them saved to create the backbone of what you want to be able to create. This is a process that I know all too well. I'm creating songs almost daily for my band. I mean, there's a saying that goes around that as a musician, every second of every day is music, music, music. And I firmly agree with this statement, because it is a lot of work and a lot of hours, and it's not going to be easy. I mean, being in a band isn't easy. If it was, a lot more people would be doing it. But you are committed to it, and I'm going to help you through that. There's also a lot of financial expenses that go into being in a band. I'm sure you're well aware of this. I mean, every band is talking about this, and it's something that is inevitable, and it's just one of those things you have to be prepared to sacrifice if you want to be able to go far with a band. For example, paying for merch, paying for petrol to get to gigs or get to rehearsals. You've got to buy the equipment that you need. You've got to pay for online advertising. You've got to pay for artwork. You've got to pay for someone to mix and produce your songs. You've got to pay for studio time. There's a lot of costs that go into making music, and that's just something that you're going to have to face eventually, whether, it's tomorrow or a month down the line or a year down the line. It's something that will come up, and you need to be ready to face. There's also the thing with being in a new band, and that's you might not get a lot of attention for a long time, and that's okay. I mean, it's such a saturated market now. It's so difficult to stand out, and with all these new up and coming bands, you've got to really put your foot in the door to kind of make a name for yourself, and that requires a lot of time and a lot of repetition of playing shows and releasing music and posting on social media and all of these things that go into being in a band. You've really got to think about who you want to be, how you want to present yourself, and what you can do to make yourself stand out. Which brings me on to my first point, which is finding your identity. Before you even look for members or do any of that kind of work, you need to figure out what you want to do, who you want to be, how you want to portray yourself, and what you're going to be like when you're performing, because that is what people are going to notice about you, and that's what's going to grab their attention and make you remember make them remember you. Yeah. I mean, just sit and think about your favorite artist right now. Why do you love them? Is it their style? Is it their performance? Is it the music? Is it the way they present themselves? You know, all of these things that you're thinking of have probably been thought over by the artists themselves, and that's probably been a conscious decision they've made, a choice in how they want to present themselves for their image. So before you begin looking for members and all that, you want to find your identity first of all. Who do you want to be? How do you want to look? How do you want to behave on stage? What kind of music do you want to make? Because there are so many genres out there. Do some research, see what you like, and see what fits you best. When I was first looking for my genre in the band that I'm currently in, I took a pool of bands that I really, really liked, and I figured out what genre they all collectively shared, because that sort of style of music really spoke to me and was something I was really interested in creating myself. You know, bands like Spiritbox or Invent Animate, Sleep Token. There's so many bands out there that I did research into and used to gain an idea of what I wanted to do myself. And for style too, I mean, stylistically, you want your style to sort of complement the music you make. Like, for example, if you're a K-pop band, you don't exactly want to be wearing a black metal band's outfits, you know? Or if you're a black metal band, you don't want to be wearing K-pop outfits. You want to find a style that suits the genre that you're in. So figure out what sound you are first, what genre, and then figure out your style. Now, once you have these two things in mind, you're already way ahead of many other bands that are starting, because usually they'll just skip over this and they'll just wear normal outfits and, you know, play whatever genre they want, you know, in a t-shirt and shorts. And that's completely fine if you want to do that. But if you really want to create an image for yourself, you want to be able to stand out and be recognizable. So picking a specific style is so important. And the next thing is stage presence. Stage presence is a whole nother shtick, basically, because your stage presence is something that your fans will react to in a live scenario. That's what they will pick up on, and that will actually usually give the energy for the night. So if you've got a band that's playing these songs but they're stood completely still, the crowd's not going to react to that. They're going to stand still as well, and they're just going to look and be like, oh, it's just another band playing, and they'll probably actually get bored. Whereas if you're a band that's jumping around on stage, or, you know, interacting with the crowd, telling them to do things, you know, it creates an energy and it gets them more into it, and then you've got this environment where everybody's enjoying the music and going crazy and having a good time. Now, of course, that's relative to what genre you are. If you're a soul band, maybe you want people slow dancing and, you know, having a more chill time. Whereas if you're a punk band, you want people, you know, swinging off the rafters and stage diving into the crowds and everything. It's completely genre specific. But the best way to sort of gain an idea of how you're going to present yourself on stage, presence-wise, is look at your artists that are similar to you. Look at the successful artists that are similar to you. What do they do on stage? How are they moving about? How are they using the space? And kind of take inspiration from it, but see if you can add your own flair on it, because at the end of the day, you're your own artist. Once you've found all of this and you've created an image for yourself, you know what style you want to have, and you know what genre you want to be and what music you want to create, you now have to find members. Now, I get asked this question a lot because I know it can seem difficult to find members, but in reality, it's actually quite easy. One of the easiest methods that I found was going to local shows and just speaking with the bands that are playing there, because small grassroots bands, all the members in there there's probably a few that are happy to start up another project with you, or, you know, refer you to other friends that they know that might be in the same area looking for a band to start. And one way you can find venues near you easy is go onto Google Maps and literally type in music venues near me, and literally a list of music venues will show up, and you can look on their websites, have a look at what days they've got shows on and what shows specifically suit what you want to do. For example, if you want to be a punk band and there's a venue near you, see if they've got a punk night on and go to it. And all you have to do is just approach the band after they've played. Bands are always happy to talk to people after they've played shows. I know that I am. I love when people come and speak to me. It's lovely because it's just an interaction and you get to talk with the people that just watched you play. And just ask them, I'm looking to start a band. Do you or anyone you know, would they be interested in joining? And then you can kind of explain what you want to do, what your idea is, go over the style you planned, the genre you want to be in, and the presence you want to have. Explain all of that to them, and then just see who wants to work with you. Now, if you're in an area where that might not be possible, there's the internet. That's a big one. Just reach out to musicians online. They're quite easy to find. But also, there are sometimes special foundations set up. I was in one once. It was called Rock School. It was set up literally on the weekend in a local high school, and you show up, and there was a big collective of all the local musicians who were looking for bands, and they split you up into rooms. You get to see who you gel with, and you get to form bands there. And that was a great way of finding a band for me, because it actually put a big collective of musicians in one area, so you could see who fit the style you wanted to go for and who you worked well with. So see if there's anything like that online, like music, rock schools, and maybe go to one. It might just be a bit beneficial. So obviously, once you've found your members, that's probably one of the hardest steps, but make sure that the members you found are friendly, you get along with them, and they're just as passionate about the music as you are, because you've all got to have the same level of commitment for the band to work, because you've got to divvy up, like when you're in a band there are so many things going on, you've got to divvy up the workload, and if they're not committed to that, that's probably going to be an issue. So you want to find people that are committed and that you get along with as well. But now you're on to the next step, which is writing. So writing is the most fundamental step, because obviously this is you creating your own music that is your own, and you have full creative freedom when it comes to it. And that's a really exciting thing, but it can also be a bit confusing because you might not know what you want to do. So one method that I like to try, or I like to do when I'm writing, is I just take bands that I like and I listen to a couple of their songs, see what bits I liked from it, and see what I can do similar to that. Obviously, you don't want to copy what they're writing because that's copyright, but just take influence from it and create something unique that, it's yours. But it's always good to have an influence, because all the bigger artists that I've seen, they all have influences, they openly talk about them. So find your influences and see what you can take as inspiration from them and implement it into your own music. I'm now on to my last point, and that's finding live shows and getting gigs. Now, this is quite similar to finding members. Just honestly, it's the same kind of process. Search up venues on Google and go to these local venues and find the promoters in these venues who put on these shows. Usually on the posters, the promoter putting on the show for that night will have their name on the bottom, or the promotion company name, and you can reach out to them, send them an email or talk to them in person. If you're sending them an email, just say, hey, my name's so-and-so, I'm in this band. Tell them what genre you are. Send them demos if you have any. If you have any demos or songs that are released, even better. But all you need to say is, hi, my name's so-and-so, I'm in this band with this genre, and we'd like to come play this night. Would you be interested in putting us on? Here's a link to our demo. Here's a link to our social media. And then they'll go have a look. They'll see where they want to put you on, and they'll usually respond and boom, you've got yourself a show. It's quite simple, and it may take a lot of time because you got to write out these emails, but that's just something that comes with being in a band, and getting shows is something that you'll always need to keep doing. So well, unless you get a booker, but that's a whole nother thing. But if you're just starting out, you're going to be doing it yourself, and that's the best way. So it may take some time. You may have to sit down and go through all the venues, go onto the websites, find their contact us page. Usually venues' websites will have that, and just send them an email and explain that, and you should be able to get some decent amount of shows pretty quickly. Also, promoting yourself. Now, this is another massive thing. Social media, you've got to be able to upload videos, and I know it's cringe because there's the cliche that you're that band that's like, did we just make the song of the summer? Or the ones where it's like, oh my god, you've just discovered a niche small band that hasn't blown up yet that still replies to all those comments. That's gonna be you, and that's okay, because that's just what we've got to do in this day and age, man. With all the shit that's going on, all this saturated market, you've got to make a digital footprint for people to start recognizing you. So just get posting, see what trends are going on, see what hashtags are doing well, and implement them into your videos, and you should start getting some more people coming in, basically. But yeah, aside from that, it's just up to maintaining workflow and interest. Obviously, if you love being in a band, it won't feel like work to you. It is so much fun, and you just got to keep checking up on your bandmates, see how they're doing, see how they feel. You want everyone to be in a position where they're ready to just put their heads down and work if they need to. And the greatest thing about being in a band is it's the most unserious thing ever, because when you go on stage you may be serious and you put on this persona and you've got this whole look and sound about you, and then you come off stage and you're the biggest bunch of goofballs ever, because that's me and my band. We're the biggest bunch of goofballs ever, but then when you go on stage you lock the fuck in basically. But yeah, it's so much fun, and honestly it just takes time, but you'll find your footing. And I think with that is my how to start a band in 2026 guide. I had a lot of fun making this, and I know it's my first video. I'd love to hear in the comments what other videos you'd like me to make on being in the music industry and being in a band or being an artist. I'd love to hear what you guys want to know more about, because I feel like I'm in a position now where I've gained enough experience to talk about this and offer advice where I can, because I love helping out new artists. I mean, I was there, and I know it's difficult in this day and age, but I want to be there for you guys, and I want to help more bands. So yeah, please do reach out, please do leave a comment. I hope you enjoyed this video, and yeah, there will be more on the way, and yeah, I think that's probably about it. So yeah, like and subscribe, drop a comment. I sound like a 2016 YouTuber, but I guess that's what happens when you start a YouTube channel. Yeah, I'd love to see you guys in the next video. Thank you so much for watching, and that was my definitive how to start a band in 2026. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys soon.